Back to the video, Master Sedge here. I know it's been 6 months since I posted my last video, but still, that is alright. So, today's topic we're going to be focusing on is 16 countries that are threatened by underwater to be underwater by 2050. Alright guys, let's get into the video. So the first country we have is the Maldives. The threat is over 80% of its islands sit at less than 3 feet above sea level. Now, the adaptation they have over there is they've constructed something called Hulhumale, an elevated artificial city built 6 feet above sea level to serve as a storm refugee and long-term residence area. Okay, so as you know, there's a lot of theory been going on that Maldives is definitely going to be disappearing by 2050. Yes, it might be true, but I don't know. Well, either way, let's move on to the next country. The next country is Seychelles. This country is in Africa, like right off the east coast. So, the threat of this country is the main island of Mahe holds 90% of the population along the coastal strips, sitting just 6 feet above sea level, making it prone to severe spring-tide flooding. Yes, so this makes sense because a lot of these countries in this video are gonna be like at one of those, it's gonna be islands. But at the end, there's gonna be some surprising countries you're gonna be seeing. So you wanna stay tuned in order to see that. So next country we have is Fiji. So Fiji is a country in Oceania. It's very small, but still. The threat is they get frequently impacted by severe tropical cyclones and storm surges. The adaptation they've had for this is planting coastal mangrove forests to act as a natural sea barrier, buffer wind speeds, and trap sediment to slow erosion. So this is actually a very genius idea from Fiji, especially since now this will make them stay longer. So now let's move on to the next country. The next country is actually Egypt. Now, Egypt's threat is low-lying coastal hubs like Alexandria, where roughly 45% of residents live near the level, face severe displacement risks and loss of commercial fishing guards. Now, this is a real big risk, especially for people who live on like the edges of Egypt. So as you can see on the top there, Alexandria is right there, next to the Mediterranean Sea. So let's move on to the next country. The next country is the Netherlands. So the threat is roughly half of the population lives in areas below sea level, threatening human settlements and major agriculture exports like tulips. Now, the adaptation the Netherlands has is really genius, and that's why they haven't sunk down into the water yet. They rely on centuries of advanced engineering, high-tech storm surge barriers, and extensive seawalls. And there's also dams they use to get rid of the water from inside the land. So that's why they're still here. Okay, next country. Our next country is Tuvalu. So the threat of Tuvalu is an extremely narrow island. So like this one could be like disappearing really soon. So it's an extremely narrow island chain, averaging just 9 feet above sea level, where salt water regularly floods limited agricultural lands during high tides. So for this country, it's really like this country is located in Oceania also, like Fiji. Well, except this one's like very skinny, so they have a much bigger risk. Next country. It's the Philippines. Another big country. I know. The threat for this one is a 7,000 plus island archipelago, highly exposed to extreme typhoons, tsunamis, and coastal tides, surges that causes billions in infrastructure damage. So the Philippines is located in Southeast Asia, just like some other countries that are gonna come up in this video. So the Philippines get very hit with tsunamis and typhoons, like all of like the water elements that are like really hard. They also had like a really big earthquake, I heard somewhere. So let's move on to the next country. The next country is Vanuatu. So, the threat of this country is they became one of the first nations forced to systematically relocate entire coastal communities inland to higher ground due to rising sea levels. So Vanuatu is located in Oceania. So like a lot of these countries will be located in Oceania. Yep. So now this country is like really small, and it's gonna probably go sink in 2050, like our title says. So next country. Okay, so the Marshall Islands. Okay, so for the Marshall Islands, this one's threat is projections indicate up to 40% of buildings in the capital, Majuro, could end up permanently underwater. So, so, as you can see right over here, we have Maruo right here, as you can see. It's located on the island of Arno, right here, as you can see this label right there. And the adaptation, which is written right here. So that's fortifying airport infrastructure, building seawalls, and relocating key buildings. So as you can see, so in the capital over here, they're gonna relocate a lot of the buildings, and they might even switch up their capital, maybe to like one of these islands up here. Well, either way, let's move on to the next country. Alright, so the next country we have is Nauru. Look right here, Nauru. So, Nauru is actually one of the smallest countries, but not the smallest country. That's Vatican City, as we all know. So it's actually the third smallest country, if you saw from my video, top 10 smallest countries. And now, the threat for this country is sea levels here are rising nearly 3 times faster than the global average, threatening the Buada Lagoon, the island's primary freshwater source. So as you can see, this water source right here, this is the Buada Lagoon. It's basically Nauru's primary freshwater source, and it's basically what Nauru's living off. But if this gets swallowed up by the water, then that just basically means like all the people that are living on Nauru is just dead. Like in 3 days, because they're gonna die of dehydration. So let's move on to the next country. Yeah. Okay, so the next country we have is Palau. So, Palau, so the threat for this one is tidal flooding and saltwater intrusion. Threaten vital agricultural regions, particularly taro crops. So, taro crops, if I'm guessing, is on this very big island over here. Probably also Palau's capital. But this is very interesting country because this is also located in Oceania. So, as you know, Oceania is just the island continent where lots of islands are going to sink and there's going to be new countries that might be created. Alright, so the next country we have is very interesting. Samoa. So guys, if you don't know what Samoa is a country located in the South Pacific Ocean. So there's Samoa, that's how you spell it. Okay, so the threat for this one, they face a double challenge. Sea levels are rising while tectonic movement follows major earthquakes, is causing coastal lands to sink. So, basically, Samoa is located on a tectonic plate, on two tectonic plates. They shift around a lot. So here's where the tectonic plate divides. So it's basically between the two islands. And they basically just move, causing Samoa to get a lot of earthquakes, which causes the coastal lands to sink. Alright, let's go to the next country. The next country is Kiribati. Now, this country has been very famous recently, as you know. But now, the threat for this country is almost all infrastructure lies near low-lying coasts with virtually no land elevated higher than 6.5 feet above sea level. Now, how does Kiribati over here adapt to this? Now, the adaptation is they have explored extreme engineering concepts such as multi-billion-dollar floating offshore platforms. So, like, for example, maybe they're gonna have a platform near London. It's not the actual London in the UK. And maybe over here near Paris, near Poland, near Tabwaka. Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, I guess so. That's the next country. I don't know what happened there, but the next country is Vietnam. Yes, the country in the southeast. Yeah, Southeast Asia. Well, the threat for this one is the Mekong Delta, responsible for over half of the country's rice production, faces severe saltwater intrusion and flooding that threatens global food supplies. So basically what this is saying is there's a very big rice company that is falling because of these tsunamis that hit the coasts of Vietnam, as you can see here. Now, let's move on to the next country. We just have two more countries remaining. Now we have Grenada. Now, Grenada is a country that's located in North America, one of the Caribbean countries. Well, there's only a few Caribbean countries in this video. Well, either way, so the threat is this Caribbean island of spice, it's called, faces extreme coastal erosion and soil salinization, endangering both its agricultural soil and coastal tourism hubs. So basically, Grenada is a very hot spot for tourism, as you know. So basically, the water keeps on seeping through until Grenada's gone, just like all the other countries we've talked about. Well, except for the big ones, as you know. So, the last country we have on this list is Solomon Islands. The Solomon Islands. This is a country located in Oceania. Again, I know, guys. I'm tired of the Oceania countries, alright? Don't worry. And so, the threat for this one is there's been 5 uninhabited islands in the archipelago that have already completely vanished under the sea. That's crazy, guys, right? So all my fans that are living in Solomon Islands, suggest to be careful because it's gonna be really, really hard seeing this more islands sink. And also, while 6 others have lost significant land area. Yeah, probably some of these islands over here. But there's very important cities like Munda. As you can see, Munda. Honoriah. Well, so, now we've come to the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you liked it. And if you liked it a lot, and if you want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. And here's our count. We have 132 subscribers. I wish we could make it 200 soon. One day I will get monetized, and that is my dream. Alright. Well, hope you liked the video. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.